Hey there, seekers of spiritual, tangible results.
Welcome to the no-nonsense zone, where common sense meets the spiritual. I'm Jason Parks.
I'm Emma Romano, your unapologetically real spiritual guides.
We don't sugarcoat, we don't dance around the woo-woo, we just deliver the raw, kick-ass truth.
Join us each episode as we dive deep into the mystical, cut through the bullshit, and show you how to manifest the tangible results you've been craving for.
No fluff, no filters, just two mentors on a mission to elevate your mind, body and soul.
Get ready to transform your life like never before. This is Soul Aligned Results, where spirituality meets the real world. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Emma Romano and the amazing
Jason Parks.
We are a Soul Aligned Results. We have got a doozy of a podcast for you today. So I think we're going to upset people, and I think other people are going to go, this is really great, and other people are going to want to turn us off.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
But they are just going to not turn us off because they're going to keep listening just to hear the end of it. We're talking about empathy and sympathy today.
Yeah.
Jason, I'm going to let you explain what empathy and sympathy means, please.
Yeah, let's get that one out of the bag.
Okay.
So,
what does it really mean? Can you tell what it really means and what people think they think it means?
Okay. So first of all, I'm just going to start by triggering a lot of people, because I always think that's the best way to start a conversation. Yeah. So okay, we've heard it. We've all heard it. Is that someone will tell you they're an empath. And what they mean by that is when they walk into a space and energy is unsettled, they can't hold their shit together. They said they are thrown around by it, they're buffeted by it, and they're dragged all over the place by it. And it's become an identity.
Oh, and this is the best one. It's when I get somebody who says, Emma, I really want to do your practitioner training, but I'm an empath and I can't. I will take on my client's energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go on, keep going, Jason.
Well, really what they're saying is I've got no boundaries. Right? That's what they're saying. So to do this work, you and I have done this work for a while now.
Yes.
And you're only of value to the people that you work with in proportion to how much you can hold yourself still.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's the difference between empathy and sympathy. So fundamentally, I'm empathetic when I'm coming from a point of clarity, when I'm coming from a point of control of myself and of connection and of awareness. I said that is empathy. Empathy is a gift of the strong, like compassion. Right? It is a gift of the strong. You have to be strong in order to be empathetic with a person. So if you tell me that you're suffering, if you tell me that you're going through a lot, and frankly, that's what everybody tells me because that's the work I do.
That's our job.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Where you and I do that all day long.
Yeah.
And that's what we're in for. Now, empathy is the ability for us to look at it and say, okay, I can see that. I can witness that. I can hold you still and offer you safety and offer you an ability to heal. That I can understand how you got there and what you can do from there. And most importantly, I can see that you're bigger than this. Whatever is happening to you, you are bigger than. This is the shit you manage. This is not what defines you. It's not your identity. So what happens is if I lose that control, what I do is I get on the same vibration that you're in. And then next thing you know, we have sympathy where we are both at the same level. And there's a couple of things happen with that. One, now I'm in the boat with you and I'm useless to you because I'm going through this in real time, the same way you're going through this in real time. So I can't save you. We're two drowning people in the water saying who's going to save us. Now, that's first part of it. But the other bit about it where it's ghastly is that I'm in agreement with the awful things that are happening to you are real for you. They're completely real. They are all you are capable of.
Mm-hmm.
That's what sympathy is. When you say that my life's falling to pieces and I can't get control of it and I'm completely overwhelmed and I'm in there with you, then what's happening is I'm holding you in that frequency. I am holding you underwater to help you drown.
Mm-hmm.
And sympathy from a spiritual ethic, if you're a spiritual practitioner, if you're in sympathy with people, you need a boot in the ass every time
Mm-hmm.
someone looks at you.
You need to stop making it about you.
It's completely about you. Yeah,
That's right for the jugular. That's what I end up saying to people. Like I
yeah,
did it when I
yeah,
first started working with clients. I learnt Reiki and energy work, kind of like kinesiology,
yeah,
and loved it. And my kinesiology, it wasn't kinesiology, but it was like that. And this woman said to me, I can only see one client a day because, like her, she said, I can only see one client a day because I really pull on that that person's energy. And it takes me all day and all night to ready myself. I'm like, oh, okay. So I took it that identity on
yeah.
100%. And I used to see clients and it'd be one a day. No wonder I was only making 19,000 a freaking year. My mum turned up one day and I'm on the floor because this woman, we'll call her Sarah. Sarah said, oh, I'd be after a client. I'd have to lay on the ground and I'd have to ground myself. And sometimes I couldn't pick my head up. I went, oh, okay. So this is how you do it. This is what
Yeah,
a
yeah,
practitioner looks like. I didn't know. I went, okay. And I went, okay, I'm in agreement with you. I'm in agreement with this frequency and I'm in full agreement. This is what my life's going to look like as a
yeah.
therapist. My mum turns up one day, my mum, the all practical. She comes in, she goes, what are you doing on the floor? Oh, I just had a really bad client, like really difficult. And I'm just grounding myself. She goes, well, this is not very viable, is it? I'm sitting there, the back of my hand on my forehead going, what do you mean, mummy? What do you mean? She goes, well, you can't make a business out of this. She goes, go back to tennis coaching.
Yeah, yeah,
Or go get the job back in the pub or go do your admin work again. You can't. This is bullshit.
yeah,
And I went, oh. She goes, oh, you want to change that, darling? And I went, oh, okay. And so I did.
yeah,
Literally
yeah,
that day I went, yeah, I can't. This is bullshit. And literally as I did this is going to make people laugh. And I want you to try it if you did the same thing I was doing. Just go, this is bullshit. Sit up. And I never had that problem again.
yeah,
Like all of a sudden, all the fatigue had gone. Like within a second, it had all gone. It was all bullshit. It was just an identity. I was in agreement with it. And I
yeah.
was in agreement with if you lose the energy or the frequency, I collect it.
Yes,
But I also had the agreement that it comes from me, which is bullshit, right? It came through me. I was
yeah,
just, standing, I'm just the vessel. It's like
yeah,
if you're having a cup of tea, it's not the cup you want, it's the tea. But you have to put the tea in a cup, otherwise it just goes on the floor. I was just the cup, right? That's the only thing I was. And all of a sudden I'm like, okay. Then I started seeing 8 to 9 clients, 10 clients a day, and I was fine. In fact, I then had an agreement that the energy promoted energy.
yeah,
So by the end of the day, I'm wired. I'm like, I was having the best time of my life. I'm like, woohoo. It's like even today, it's what? It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and my first client was 6 a.m. this morning. Yeah, and I'm full of beans.
yeah.
And I always thought also that you had to empathize. If the client cries, you got to cry with them. It's a crock of shit because it's not viable. And I tell you why this is not even this is science based right now. If you sit in with your client and you're imagining, you're seeing the things they're seeing and you're being why they're being, and you go, oh, yes, I can feel it. I can feel it. Your body actually thinks it's happening to you in real time.
That's right. Yeah,
And I got to tell you, Jason and we see the worst of the worst trauma clients, like child trafficking, rape, all of it. It's the worst of the worst. If I'm sitting there talking to a client who's been child trafficked and I'm going, oh my God, yes, and I go into empathy, my body and my unconscious mind actually thinks I've been child trafficked.
yeah,
And then my body will react to that feeling and that thought. Do you think it's going to react nicely or badly? No, it's going to be shit. I'm going to be riddled with freaking cancer or arthritis, or I'm going to be riddled with problems in my body. So that's another scientific fact of why you don't want to go into taking that person's stuff.
Yeah.
But also my two bobs worth is this. When you're in therapy with someone or even a conversation with somebody, it's not up to you to do that, and it's not about you. And by going into that deep empathy, oh, I feel you, oh, I'm crying with you, you just made it about you. And then all of a sudden that person now has to step up and go, well, do you need me?
Yeah, that's right.
So, do you freaking need me? It's
Yeah,
not about
now I feel
you.
awkward for
Now
coming
I
to
feel
see you.
awkward. I'm so sorry I've made you cry. Or even worse, I've just paid you money for you to
Yeah,
help me. And now I've got to suck it up and go, do you want a glass of water or a tissue?
yeah, that's right.
You're the lifeline. You're not the one, you're not the concrete on their boot. They're not with a concrete with a chain hanging off their ankles and drowning them.
Yeah,
And there's one, and so many people say to me, but Emma, you've got the worst cases coming. How do you do it? Because I know once they dump their shit, the enlightenment's on the other side. That's what I'm in agreement with.
yeah,
I'm invested on that part. You great, let it all out. I got you, girl. I got you, mate. I got you, all of you, right? I've got you, but I haven't got you if I'm wallowing in it with you.
yeah,
And that's not what you're paying me for.
that's right.
Emma Romano just went on a rant. That's an Emma Romano rant right there.
That's right. Well, I'll tell you what else that is. That's a master practitioner right there.
Thank you.
That's a master practitioner. It's you.
Thank
This is
you.
what we should all be aiming at. We should
Yes.
all, if you're listening to this and this is freaking your pain body out, you need to just take a deep
Good.
breath. Yeah, that's right. Good. Take a deep breath and just
Yeah.
recognize that what's being talked about here is about how you move forward.
Mm.
That identity, about that whole empath identity, is a lie that people are buying into and holding themselves in as small so that they can be of limited service to the world around them, but they get to feel really excited about it.
Yeah.
You and I, we call this, our business, we work together, same as this podcast, is soul aligned results,
Yes,
right?
it's results. Just
It's
results,
results.
results, results. Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you're following spiritual principles, it's not about belief. If somebody's telling you, I'm working with this work and my life is shit, but I feel really good about it, you need to run,
Mm-hmm.
right? That person is completely off track. They're not going to help you. What you need is somebody that says, my life was shit. My life is better. It may not be super awesome, but it's better. And these are my results I can show you. If they can do that, then you go, okay, this person's actually doing the work. And if they're not doing the work and they're not getting the results, then they're of no value to you. If you're trying to really accomplish something of value, it's got to be about results. And that's why we've structured the way we structured.
And this is my other two bobs worth, right? So when I have a practitioner or somebody wanting to study to be a practitioner, a therapist, and they're really in that empathy, oh, I just can't, I take it on, I take it on. There's one thing I say to them is this, I go, how much healing have you done around your childhood trauma?
Mm,
And 9 out of 10 will go, not much. And the other 1 out of 10 will go, none.
yeah.
There's your issue. So empaths, as well as what they're known as empaths, are really people pleasers.
Yeah. Wow.
So people pleasing is from a trauma response.
Yeah.
And it's usually because of two big things. When a people pleaser will usually have a very disassociated emotional parent and or a very controlling parent or guardian, somebody who's living very close. It could be a brother, could be a grandmother, whatever. And they'll have a very controlling one. And they'll literally wake up in the morning and they've got to look at the adults and see how they're going to play their game today, what they're going to do, what kind of kid they're going to be, who they have to butter up first to keep the peace.
Yeah.
They have a lot of childhood trauma, and those people who have a lot of childhood trauma, they're the wounded healer, will go into this kind of therapy because they want to heal so many other people, but they're not really ready to do the hard work themselves. How do you know who those people are? They've already turned this podcast off. You guys who are still listening to this, fucking well done.
Yeah.
Because you're feeling the pain and you're feeling the awkward and you hate us right now, but you go, oh, I'm just going to listen to the rest of it anyway. Because your soul's sitting there going, there's something in this and there's something I need to hear. So I just want to say, if you're still listening to this very podcast here, go you.
Yeah.
You're a bloody champion. Pat yourself on the back. That's massive.
Yeah.
Even if you just want to throw old rotten tomatoes at us right now, it's okay.
Yeah, that's right. You would not be the first nor the
You
last.
would not be the first, won't be the last, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But this is where this is the kind of therapist you want. You want someone who'll go there. You want the therapist, you want a master practitioner, as Jason was saying before. Mastery is self-mastery.
Yeah. Exactly.
My client's problem is not mine. Nor do I want it to be. Nor do I get off on the fantasy of it being me either.
Yeah.
But I used to.
That's a big one, that one.
I used to
Yeah.
sit there and go, I can only see one client a day because I take on all the energy is so palpable. It's a load of bullshit.
Yeah.
It's fantasy. It's an identity. Get rid of that identity because you'll burn out. You'll hate it. You won't love it. You won't make any money. You won't make any difference in your clients' lives. And there's another pain point. The kind of clients you get will tell you to your face you've done a great job because they're people pleasers, but they won't turn up again. They won't refer you. If you've got clients who are not referring you, and if you've got clients who aren't coming back, it is you. It's you.
Yeah.
It's the therapist. That's the issue. It's not your marketing. It's nothing like that. Oh gosh, we're on a big one then. Jason, you better take over.
Well, look,
I'm sitting here sipping my ceremonial cacao right now, trying to be open-hearted. Yeah, go for it.
That's it. Well, I think the thing about it is it's important to understand that it arises from a desire to help others, to serve others. Right.
Yes.
And that's the impulse that's underneath it. Whether or not like trauma's worked its magic on it and the pain body has said that don't worry about that. The thing is that the impulse is that desire for service. Now, that's a beautiful thing. You have to rescue it though. You have to rescue it. You can't. I had for a long period there, I had education, a traditional Shaolin education. And what that is it's about being strong for the very simple reason that if you're strong, you can help people. Compassion is, and that's what it was for, compassion. See, in that kind of Buddhism, it was built around a vow of compassion, of infinite compassion. So it's like if you're striving to be compassionate and be a force for assistance in the world, intergenerations, Dr. Ashmoreland put it, you change from being a person that is propagating intergenerational trauma and you start to carry intergenerational healing. And if you're that person, well, you've got to get your shit together and you've got to hold it together. So it's about developing your own discipline, your own skill set, your own grounding, and creating that sense of order in your own life. And from that gives you reach. If you've only got a little bit of control, you'll only get a few clients because that's the limit that you can work on. As you get more control of yourself, you get more and more reach in your friends, in your family, and in your businesses. And it's not just as therapists. It doesn't matter. You can own a local butcher shop.
Yeah.
If you've got your shit together, it said the energy in that place, even though, you're dealing with dead animals, it said the energy in that place, the customer service, the way in which you treat people, it said
Mm-hmm.
that has an ability to really enrich people's lives. And any business is like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really the takeaway, I suppose the big takeaway for this, like what do I do? Well, you've got to really do three things. So you've got to, first of all, learn to ground your energy.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. There's a lot of different ways you can do it, but ultimately, you got to ground your energy because when you're standing in the presence of severe trauma, for example, it's like a whirlpool of energy there. It's just you can be sitting in a room and it is chaos there. And you have to be able to stand completely still in that space and hold that person still so that that chaos can abate, it can process and go. So you got to be able to ground. If you can't ground, you're no use to anyone because
Mm.
in a very short amount of time, you'll go into sympathy, and in sympathy, you will then make it all about you,
Yeah.
right? So that's the one thing you can never be about you. It's always about them.
Yeah.
You got to strengthen your boundaries. That's the second thing you got to do. You got to strengthen your boundaries. You change your expectations. If you walk in there, the same as you said about laying on the floor, that was your expectation,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you turn around and say, "Well, that's just not me. That's not what I do." I get asked that all the time. I said it's not uncommon for me to work, 7 to 10 sessions a day,
Mm-hmm.
and people say that like, "How can you actually do it?" And it's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Is it exhausting?" Yeah, you got to hold focus for a long time. I said, "But the most exhausting bit is sitting in a chair that long."
Yes.
Said that's
Yeah.
the exhausting bit. It is physically hard on your body to be
Mm-hmm.
sitting still for that long.
Mm.
So but it's really like you got to know how to ground that energy and you've got to know how to have those boundaries because if you've got those boundaries, you can withstand stuff.
Mm.
That you're only of value in proportion to what you can withstand. So that's your second point. And the third one is you've got to change your agreements. You're
Yes.
you like what you think is okay, what you identify with. You've got to get rid of when you walk into a room and you feel your energy around the place, you've got to go, oh, I'm feeling a bit ungrounded. I'm feeling like my boundaries are being pressed against. I
Mm.
need I need to take control of that right now.
Mm.
Not this is my identity. It's not your identity. It's no good having that identity doesn't serve you.
No.
So it
It doesn't
makes you
serve
feel special.
anybody. It doesn't serve anyone.
Well, it's
It gives
what
you
it
a sense of
is.
entitlement of look how much I do this and look how much that's what that is. Like
Yeah,
the martyrism. Is that how you
yeah,
say
yeah,
it?
very much.
Martyrism? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the wounded
martyrs.
healer between going to being a martyr.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's you got to change that identity. It's like you walk in, you go, "Oh, I'm feeling like you tell the truth. I'm just feeling a bit ungrounded,
Mm.
or I'm feeling that it's all over the place." It's like that's okay. I just need to sort of take a minute, get control of that, and then I'm okay. So the sympathy, and that's the other thing you have to do. I suppose here's your bonus. Here's your bonus step. Your bonus step is under no circumstances should you agree with the concept of sympathy. If
Mm-hmm.
someone comes to you and they're like, my life is over, everything is terrible, I can't do anything, I'm a complete fuck up. If you agree with them, then you hold them in that frequency.
Yeah.
That is a wound against the soul, an insult against the soul.
Mm.
And they might enjoy that in the moment, but ultimately they're going to hate you for it. They're going to turn around and hate you for it because they're going to go, actually, and I think I've told this story before, but one of the things when you're struggling at life, there's nothing worse than you're in a position where you suspect that you're struggling at life because you actually don't know what it is to not be like that. So
Mm-hmm.
you've been in it for that long, you can't see out of it. So you think that this is normal now. And then one day someone says to you, listen, you're not thriving. You're not really doing well. You need to
Mm.
really change the way you're thinking. When that happens, that happened to me, when that happens, you're just like, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I could see the results, but everyone kept telling me everything's okay. It's not my fault,
Yes.
and it's like, I hate my life. I had in my 20s, I had a really big depression problem
Mm-hmm.
in my 20s. And the problem, and I should clarify that because I didn't have an imbalance in my emotional state where I was always depressed. I had a fucking depressing life. I
Mm-hmm.
was having a balanced emotional response to it. To
Mm.
wake up in the morning, look at my life and feel depressed was the correct answer. Right? That
Yes.
was it.
I love that you
Yeah,
explain that because some people can be depressed, like a chemical imbalance depression, and their
yeah,
lives are amazing.
exactly right. It's a different ball game.
It's
Yeah,
completely different. Yes.
yeah.
But most
So
people who are depressed hold depressing lives.
exactly right. They sit in that state
They
and
sit in
people
it.
sympathize with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Everybody
keeps
says
them
okay.
there. Mm.
Yeah. I've seen this in a professional space, in the mainstream, many, many, many times when people are dealing with the homeless. Because
Mm-hmm.
what they do is they start making decisions, and it's well-meaning, but it happens in like legislation levels. People start to make decisions about care, and it's all built around the fact that this is as good as it gets.
Mm.
You're never going to, like, if we can house you and you're trying to kill yourself every week, but you don't because of intervention, that's as good as it gets. It's like,
Mm.
that's not as good as it gets. That's still shit.
Yeah.
That if we actually decide that that's shit and we look for better results, we can get better results.
Mm.
But if we hold people in that sympathy that that's as good as you're going to get, and I have seen psychologists, psychiatrists, I have seen social workers, I have seen every imaginable highly trained professional do that.
Mm.
And it's simply because everybody's reading from the playbook that says that's as good as it gets. Nobody's stopping and saying, well, that's not true. There are individuals that are stopping and going, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
So those people are changing the way service provision is being delivered because they're just like, that's bullshit. Let's do it this way.
It's
Right?
it's so yeah, yeah.
It's really important. And so in ourselves, we've got to be that person for
Mm.
ourselves, for our families, for our friends, for the people that we work with. Said, under no circumstances, if you come to me and you say your life is shitty, and I look at it and I go, yep, that looks pretty shitty, at no point am I going to blame you for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not, and on the other side of it, I'm not going to sit with you in it. I'm just going to go, you know what? You fell down, but that's an aberration. You can get up. Get up. Let me help you get up. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Where you are at the moment is not where you live. Said you're telling yourself that laying on the ground is where you live, and it's like it's not. Get up off the ground. They'll always think about that. There's a teaching in the Bible, and it's often missed entirely, where Jesus heals what do they say? It's like Jesus heals the cripple, and he says to this guy, "It's like, yep, your faith has made you well." Everybody remembers that bit,
Mm-hmm.
and then he says, "Pick up your mat and walk." And that is lost
That's
in
the
the
identity.
many people. People miss that bit because they all
Yeah.
go, look at the miracle. Jesus went boom and healed this guy. And you go, yeah, but what did he do? He said, actually, you did this because your faith connected you back. Jesus was the facilitator.
And he gave him and he said, there's the identity of a man who walks instead of the identity of a man who's a cripple.
Exactly right. It's like pick up your shit and never look back.
Yeah, just go.
Just go
So
forward.
powerful.
That's to me, I love that. I love that story, and I think that's beautiful aspect of the teaching,
Mm.
But we need to be that person. We need to be that person that
Yes.
when we get up, we pick up our mat and we never look back. You just walk forward. Don't go back to, oh well, it's like the um I worked with a guy one time and he said, as someone said he was an alcoholic and he got really offended. And he said, I'm not an alcoholic. I've only had my stomach pumped 4 times. So we can't be that guy, right? We
Yeah.
can't be that one. We have our own version of it. We all do. We get up and someone will pick us up. We stand up and then we just try to fall over again.
You
It's
know,
like,
I'm sitting here just going, I wonder where or if there's any part of my life where I'm in sympathy of myself.
of course we are.
Do you know? And I'm sitting there going, well, if I'm in sympathy of myself, that means I'm probably wallowing in some self-pity somewhere. And I'm just sitting there going, wow. Yeah, it's a really good self-regulated question, isn't it? Like, where am I
Yeah.
falling in sympathy with myself? It's huge.
It's not how you see yourself.
Sorry, just say that again, Jason. Your internet went funny.
That's all right. So this sympathy is not about you. It's not an inside out job. It's an outside in job. You're not saying this is who I am and how I think about myself. You're saying this is how I think I should respond to how you think, or what I think. So I can't even say it now. How I think you see me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I am responding to how I think you see me.
Mm.
It's not even how you see me, it's what I'm interpreting. And then I'm getting into agreement with that. So
Yeah.
it's a really important point. It's like, you look at it in your life, is if there's any part of your life where you're not getting the results that you want, if you think that there's more to you than what you're getting, what's then showing up, so then that shows you where you've got sympathy, where you've got
Mm.
agreement. So,
This
yeah,
is a big podcast, this one.
I would love to see a lot of people, whoever's stuck with us this far, I would love to see those people. If they started off going, I'm an empath and I get buffeted around and I'm okay about it, I would love to see what a force for good in the world they could become
Oh, I
by
just got the
holding
truth
that still.
bumps. I just got bumps
Yeah,
all over my. Oh,
yeah,
I can almost like feel, I can hear them listening to us, like the energy of it. And it's so beautiful. We would love to hear from you.
yeah,
Like, we would love to hear
absolutely.
from you. 100%. Is there
Absolutely.
anything else that you wanted to say before we sign off on this podcast, Jason?
No, I think we'll leave that there. I'm immensely grateful for whoever got to the end.
Me
Said that
too. You're
we
going to be a
threw it at
force
you
of
today.
nature.
Yeah,
100%. You're going to be such a force and just sitting in complete alignment with divine source.
yeah.
That's so beautiful. Oh, I've got the feels. I've got the feels. And thank you, everybody. We love you guys so much. Please keep in contact with us. We will see you soon. Mwah. Bye.
Thank you all.